Black Box Theater?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a-
really?
My niece's husband is doing a concert.
Call to order, St. Joseph City Council of
Recording in
Tuesday,
progress.
September 3rd. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 2, public comments. Anybody wishing to address council? Please name and address, and you get up to 3 minutes.
My name is Joanna Schneider, and I live at 1408 Pondview Lane in St. Joseph. And thank you for letting me have the opportunity to share for a moment. I am a caregiver and a family member to somebody with a disability. This is my daughter Margaret, and she is here to also perhaps share, but I might be able to share for both of us, so we'll see how it goes. I am here to ask you to reconsider the access for disabled people to Rocktoberfest. It is the one festival she has been able to go to and enjoy with our family. We love the festivals. We go without her to most. Most of them are not very accessible. And Rocktoberfest has, from the beginning, had wide access, good lighting, all of the things that make it easier to get in and out. And last year we were able to pull up to the front entrance and let her out. And then when she had to leave to go get some medicine, it was easy for one of us to grab a car, get her, take her home, and then bring her back. So when I heard we might not be able to do that, I was a little concerned, and we thought we'd come in and share it from our perspective so that maybe it could be reconsidered. We realize it's ADA compliant, and that's not what we're here asking about. Is it easy or convenient for people to get there and enjoy? And how does it feel? What I don't like as a teacher is I want her to be able to go in the front door. I want her to be able to go in with everybody else. I want her to be able to enter with her family and with her friends. They have a totally zero, grade access. It's well lit. They have tables for her to hang on to while she's getting her credit card out. And just compared to most other events in town, we can't do that. The crowds are too big, or people are bringing their own chairs, or the little booth where you get your tickets is, no bigger than this. So Rocktoberfest really made an effort to make sure that there was access not only for the disabled, but for the senior citizens of town. And I just think that taking the front entrance away is wrong. They shouldn't have to come in the back door. They should be able to come in with everybody else. Now, I realize it's a safety issue, and that it might have been, it sounds like, from problems at the end of the event with a large crowd leaving and the roads there. But perhaps you could reconsider to allow access through most of the event. Most of the seniors and the disabled go home before the ending anyway, and maybe it could, some kind of compromise that way could be made. I did drive over by the alley access that was proposed, and it's dark back there, and it's a skinny alley. If we come with a handicap van, you can't even fit 2 cars either way. And then the semis are back there, and the dumpsters, and the cables for the power for the band, and it's dark. And it just doesn't even seem safe to have her with her walker try to do that. And I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but we wanted to come say that she'd like to enter like everybody else and participate in at least some of the events. The other thing we wanted to share was we went to Joetown Blocks, and it also was not very accessible, and I think it was just from nobody really planning or thinking through it. I have some photos we took that day. The picnic tables were no more than this far away from no parking signs or the posts. And people were locking their bikes up, and Meg could not get through with her walker or her wheelchair. We ended up having to leave them, and she took my arm, and then we could try to get around to look, but it didn't work well, and we ended up leaving the event. So we would also like to offer consulting, helping, when you plan events, if you want somebody to look at things and maybe give some feedback. As somebody who gets around with a walker a lot, maybe that would be helpful too, to just give another point of view or thought. So that's all I wanted to say. Would you like to say something? You can say your name and your address.
Well, my name is Meg, and
she's my mom, and I live in 1408 Pondview Lane, the same place that she lives as well, and I also live with my dad. And besides, I use a walker, a power chair, and a wheelchair, but I also have a service dog as well, but he's retired now, and I'm trying to get a new one. So, that's it.
And do you have any thoughts about going to events here? Would you like to go in the front, or would you like to have to go around the back?
Yes, I would like to go through the front, because it'll be much easier and quicker than the back. Because it might be harder to go through the back, because the front, it might be more quicker to get to the event than the back.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you both. Dan, you want to introduce yourself? We have a guest tonight. Yeah, same thing, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I'm Dan Pollock. I'm an associate with Lockridge Grindle Nowen in Minneapolis, a law firm. I'm in the government relations group, and I'm also a registered lobbyist. We are here to answer questions and have some discussion with the city about the possibility of a municipal cannabis store in St. Joseph. It's an option under the new state law that had passed in 2023 and then was updated in 2024. Cities are allowed to own and operate, or do so through partnership with an operator. And basically, you can't be an exclusive cannabis store like you would be with liquor, but it is allowed to compete, with the rest of the market. It's an opportunity for the city to, generate some non-tax revenue from the sale of cannabis in the city, and economic opportunity and development opportunity for communities like St. Joseph. So we don't have a proposal in front of the council tonight, but happy to answer any questions or entertain any discussion. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks, Dan.
I had a couple questions for you. So, we in St. Joe, we're very seriously looking at doing a municipal dispensary. Are you aware of any other cities within like the Stearns County or Central Minnesota area that are approaching this seriously yet, or is it just prospective?
Councilman, not in Stearns County, but definitely in the state of Minnesota. I would say there are at least a dozen cities that are looking at it seriously.
Okay. I was just curious because we want to hopefully be an early adopter. We would like people to come to St. Joe if that's something they want to partake in. And we don't want to be, somebody jumping in on this late. So
Okay.
I'm happy to hear that.
Sounds good. We're happy to help you work as fast as possible.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Item 3, approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
I second.
Motion and second to approve the agenda. Any concerns? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 4, consent.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Motion and second on consent. Any concerns or questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Number 5, department reports. Anything? Girls, boys? Boys. Where's Lori? Sorry.
I just have a couple community development updates. So just a FYI, the short-term rental ordinance and honeybee ordinance will be forthcoming to Planning Commission
The
next
honeybee
Monday.
ordinance.
That's right.
Yep. So those will be public hearings and then forwarded on to council for September 16th. We also have a conditional use permit that will be on the Planning Commission agenda and on council September 16th, along with proof of parking plan from Premier Stone and a conditional use permit extension request from Summit Commons. That's for the properties south of the Wobegon Trail. So just a FYI, more stuff coming at your next meeting.
Very good. Anybody else? Randy?
Just a brief announcement. Now that we're past the Labor Day holiday, we're anticipating the 2024 street improvements to start next week. So the contractor's schedule shows the week of September 8th. So staff will be working to get a newsletter out to the residents, kind of a kickoff newsletter, but you'll start to see some activity here in the coming weeks.
What does the contractor do with Kleinfelter in terms of notifying people that use the park or residents that live around it?
Well, there isn't anything directly that the contractor would do to notify the property owners, since the activities are all within the city, but what we would typically do is we'd post information on the city's website.
Okay, all right, the website, all right.
Good. Okay, so I have one thing. The agenda for the September 12th APO meeting came out, and within it, the last item is the future cost sharing for Southwest Beltline projects. And as you may recall, we voted to allow St. Cloud and APO divvy up the environmental action report or environmental report for the bridge. And then we put this on hold to figure out what's the best way to cost share this for the other 5 cities. And this is the response back. And the cost of the planning phase for any Beltline project should be cost shared among all the jurisdictions according to the APO cost distribution formula. And allocate federal or state funds for environmental impact, and local match should be used. Tier 2 ES and all the other aspects of development should be the sole responsibility of the implementing jurisdiction. So just me personally, I still have a problem with cost sharing the jurisdiction for planning phases and other things. Only because, and I'm pretty sure Sartell and Sauk Rapids will say the same thing, they see little benefit in this from Southwest Beltline. It's gonna be at least, and it is a bad guess, 30 years before even Waite Park gets on board, and even longer before we see any benefit. So I have a difficult time agreeing to a normal cost share distribution for planning phases of it. So I'm bringing this out because I want to just get the temperature in the room. We talked about this last year, and I'm still having a tough time. I mean, honest to goodness, this is a St. Cloud, primarily St. Cloud and West Waite Park kind of issue. I don't see it ever affecting us. I don't really see how Highway 23 would, we would benefit from a 23 expansion. I'm certain Sartell or Sauk Rapids would not buy into that. But I have to go back to the 12th. I kind of want to know what you guys think, or if you just want to churn this a little bit and get back to me before the 12th.
I would agree that I don't believe we should be carrying an equal burden of costs that these other cities are. We're not going to see the same benefit.
Well, we would share an equal burden as almost as Waite Park.
Yeah, it's not equal, it's proportionate
But
to our
yeah,
population.
Yeah, but our population are close to Waite Park. But I can't imagine Sartell, who is 14,000 or something.
Right, yeah,
buying a
they
large
have to
share of
pony
it.
up more, right.
Yeah.
I'm with you on this. I just think it's best to propose an alternative.
Yeah.
Say, we're not gonna do this, this is how it should be done. Instead of just saying no, come up with what you propose to be a appropriate split on
Yeah.
a tier 1 deal. Tier 2 looks like it's whatever implementing jurisdiction mean, item number 3. But we're talking about tier 1 right now, right?
We are. And so, I thought we had talked last time that the primary cost of the planning phase would be to the direct recipient or beneficiary of it. Like, if Sartell actually had a link, they would pay for the planning portion of it, and we all may pay for invitation, or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it was like that, this benefits St. Cloud, so they're gonna pay for the lion's share of it. As it starts to creep west, we start to pay for more and more as it benefits us. And then St. Cloud pays less and less, even though, their 80 or 90,000 would help us a lot. We'd still be paying the lion's share because it benefits us. I thought that was one of the proposals, but I didn't see that anywhere.
When we were talking about, and I was at that meeting, the APO meeting about the bridge
Yeah.
on 33rd
Yeah.
Street, that ended up being pretty much all St. Cloud.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, we didn't have to pay,
That's what, so
Anything
we
you
came to
would
that
start to-
conclusion because they had to move forward with the EIS, and because of that, both APO from their funds that they had available and St. Cloud, their fair share, they're gonna move it forward, and then we're gonna talk about this at a later date. Well, this is the later date. And I just I'm gonna go back to those meeting notes, because I thought there was an alternative to, as the municipality becomes a benefit, we would pay more of our lion's share.
right.
But I'm opposed to any kind of planning cost distribution for,
On the
I mean,
regular formula,
yeah.
yeah,
Even if it goes across, you know, they establish the road on the other side of
yeah.
the Mississippi, then we'd have to pay for the lion's share of that. And I'm going,
Yeah.
that certainly isn't gonna help us.
I am not opposed to your opposition.
Okay.
I
Well,
like
if you
that.
can think of some alternatives to it, I'd love to hear them, but I'm just
You-
gonna oppose it.
You're more in the
at this
weeds with that
I'm just gonna-
organization than we are,
yeah, okay.
so.
Yeah, I'm gonna oppose it for now, and Randy, if you can think of another alternative, I mean, I know you were at the TAC meeting, I'm pretty sure, but anyway,
I can chime in real quick because I was actually filling in at that meeting. I think what the TAC had struggled with was what was that alternative formula
yeah,
to use, because the APO has a formula. If we deviate from that, what do we use and how? And I think it was hard for the TAC to come up with that on the spot. So
Sartell had suggested three different formulas at that bridge meeting. And they were like flatly rejected by St. Cloud. But, I mean, there were other formulas. I'm not sure what was noted or what was in the notes, but I'm sure Sartell came back with a 10%, 20% kind of fair share. When it gets to us, we'll pay 90% of it or whatever it is, something like that. So I just, so I'm gonna go back with my voting this down. And I don't know if one jurisdiction votes it down, everybody else votes it forward, does that mean we still have to pay? Well, not necessarily, but I don't know how else we do it. At some point, we're gonna have to come to an agreement as 6 cities to figure it out, but this to me doesn't work for me, so I just wanna bring that to everybody's attention. You guys got any reports right now?
No.
David, anything? We do not. Item 7.
Move to adjourn?
I second.
Motion second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. Sorry, it took
18 minutes.
It took 12 minutes more than I wanted to.